Greetings, my name is Placid Moose. This year I played my first ever fighting game, My Hero One's Justice. This is the My Hero Academia fighting game. I love My Hero Academia, and I really liked this game, so with the second game coming out in just a few days on March 12th, 2020, I want to bring as many Hero Academia fans into the fold as possible. So I'm going to teach you what I learned about fighting games on my short journey into this game. If you already know fighting games, this isn't for you. This is for anime fans like me, not for fighting game fans. In a fighting game like this, you and another person try to beat each other up, but you can't beat each other up at the same time. One person is giving the hits, and one person has to be taking them. Here's Todoroki putting hits on Jiro. If you're Jiro, what can you do while you're being beat up like this? Can you fight back somehow? Can you try to escape somehow? No and no. The answer is nothing. While you're being pummeled, you can do nothing about it. It is essentially your turn to be beat up right now. Jiro could be mashing all the buttons on her controller right now, or she could put her controller down and not touch it. The result is the same. But the contrivance of a fighting game is that eventually Todoroki has to stop. Todoroki is the one giving the hits, so he is trying to give as many hits as he has available, chaining his moves into as long a string as he can. He is combining his moves into a combo. But in order to make a fun game, the developer said that after so many moves, Todoroki has to stop and back off. His turn hitting Jiro is over. That's what's going on when Jiro falls to the ground and Todoroki can't do anything else to her. See, look, she's on the ground. Nothing Todoroki does can hurt her right now. So Jiro stands back up and now it's her turn to hit Todoroki, right? Not so fast. Now that they're both back on even footing, Jiro has the opportunity to earn a turn hitting Todoroki, just as much as Todoroki has the opportunity to earn another turn hitting Jiro. How can Jiro earn a turn? Well, therein lies the game, so the answer to that is complex. One way she could earn her turn is by accurately predicting her opponent. As far as I can tell, there are two major tentpoles that give shape to the fighting game genre. One is the rock, paper, scissors dynamic. The other is combo science. Combo science is figuring out which moves you can string together to make the most of your turns beating up your opponent, and then memorizing those moves to apply them in combat. The rock, paper, scissors dynamic is the main reason the game is fun, because there's psychology involved. At the core of this game, each character has a small number of basic options for attempting to gain a turn. When trying to win this next turn, the right to beat your opponent and do damage, both Todoroki and Jiro could do a normal move, which is a basic hit like a kick or a punch. It varies by character. They could choose to block, or they could choose to do an unblockable move. Each of these options has both benefits and risks. Blocking beats a normal move. That's because after the opponent hits your block, they are required to slow down, and in that slowdown you can start taking your turn beating them up. A normal move beats an unblockable move. These red unblockable moves are very risky. They can be interrupted by anything. But an unblockable move, of course, beats a block. That's what it's made for. So if Jiro plays this game of rock, paper, scissors and wins, she can start beating up Todoroki. And there are more games of rock, paper, scissors that interlink with this one. This game also has these yellow moves called counters, though they don't always counter, so the popular term armored move is more accurate. Armored moves beat normal moves, although they still take any damage in full. Here's Jiro doing her armored move while Todoroki does normal moves. She's taking damage the whole time, but at the end of the tunnel, Jiro takes control, hitting Todoroki and stopping him from continuing. Jiro took damage, but she gained service. Like in volleyball, you have to gain service before you can score a point. Normal moves, as we have seen, beat unblockable moves, and unblockables can also be used to bust through the armor of armored moves, though that is very situational. Let's call normal moves white moves to help with colors. White beats red, red beats yellow, yellow beats white. Armored moves also lose to blocking, and quite badly. There's lots of time to take advantage of a yellow move that hits your block. And armored moves don't exactly work as counters because a yellow move often loses to a yellow move. Here, Jiro's yellow move is going to win against Todoroki's normal moves, but then Todoroki has enough time to throw his own yellow move, and now his yellow move is going to come out on top. There are lots of other options like dashing, jumping, quirk moves, supers, sidekicks, and every character has interesting moves that allow fascinating playstyles to come to life and win the day. That's another reason I like this game. You can win using Asui's loping leaps to pinpoint weaknesses, or rip apart your opponent using Muscular's devastating damage, or bully your opponent under Bakugo's boundless barrage of blasts. But every character shares these basics, and so every round has a similar kind of pace. Because of how much damage a typical combo does, every round is split into about 4 to 6 subgames. A subgame is where you and your opponent are on equal ground, looking to win the right to hit the other, looking for an opening. Basically, you and your opponents are going to play this psychological game of a complicated rock, paper, scissors about 4 to 6 times to determine who wins the round. In order to separate those subgames, not only did the developers declare that Todoroki has to stop after some number of moves because Jiro goes into the ground, but they also incentivized players to back off when that happens. Everyone has a little bit of invincibility right when they wake up. So whoever is standing up anew has a pretty big advantage in the next game of rock, paper, scissors, if it happens right then. There's no need to give your opponent that advantage, so unless you're confident about predicting your opponent, you should probably back off. Those are the fundamentals of the game. Once you know that, you can pick up a controller and have fun. You don't need to know any combos to be a formidable opponent. This game is extremely beginner friendly in large part because of something called normal mode. All you have to do to execute a combo is mash square. Just one button, the button for basic hits. The developers already programmed in a pretty good combo that will automatically execute as long as you mash that button. So you can immediately play any of the characters without learning any move sequences. Most experienced players will shift into manual mode so they can extract more optimized sequences from the combo signs they've learned. But using normal mode, you can go up against someone in manual no problem. It's very much like driving automatic versus manual transmission, but they were even nice enough to call it normal instead of automatic. The game is easy to pick up and have fun with. The game doesn't even really teach you any of what I've just explained, at least not explicitly. There is a tutorial, but that only tells you the controls, not how any of these things fit together. You're so lucky I'm here. There is a single-player campaign that mostly covers the anime from the beginning up through the first half of Season 3, but that is basically irrelevant, though it might be a fair place to start. The real meat of the game is fighting online against other humans, though that isn't the healthiest scene in the twilight of this game's life. I only play on PC, though the remaining community appears to be largely on consoles. I strongly recommend a controller, but keyboard does work. And while I watch Hero Academia dubbed, there is no such option for this game nor the next. There aren't even subtitles for anything except story mode cutscenes, so all the jabbering that your favorite characters do in the menus and during battles is a mystery. I do read the manga, but only up to where we are in the dub. The game is a little broken. The game isn't updated anymore, and there are a few things that break the core gameplay that players are very willing to exploit against you. But in just a few days, those problems will be in the past. And that's why I'm bothering to teach people about this game, because I'm very excited for what's coming. I've been avoiding any information about the second game except for the roster, but I did glimpse someone's video thumbnail, and I have 2 words for you. Cowboy, Todoroki. Okay? If that doesn't excite you, you're in the wrong place. As long as I'm having fun with these new characters and fights in the second game, I'm going to bring you videos on those characters. And when that's over, maybe I'll disappear. But I hope you'll join me on this journey, because there's nothing I want more than to see each of these wonderful characters shine in outrageous moments of loss and triumph between me and other people who love these characters. Let's go Plus Ultra, everybody. I'll see you there.